Season 1 Axie Infinity patch notes have just dropped, and the team has been saying that the patch will be quite small. Now, I didn't expect it to be that small because it is a little bit of a joke that they haven't nerfed anything about a couple of the OP comps that are currently circulating through the season. Now, let's look at the cards. The first one that is being nerfed is Cottontail and Nemo. Instead of healing for 15, it heals for 5. Doesn't really change that much, does it? Spiky Wing, Winghorn, Gerbil, and Toothless Bite. Nobody's playing these cards, and nobody will start playing these cards, as the buffs that they have received are very, very negligible, unless someone can make a team around Gerbil and Toothless Bite, because they actually deal 70 damage now. So maybe you can start targeting the back lanes and ignoring the front lanes. Maybe that's some sort of a strategy that can work with Shrimp as well, potentially, but I'm not really sure about that. And that's it for the card changes. I mean, they should have changed some other cards that are clearly doing too well to be in the arena, right? Some of those cards from the beasts or from the aquas that are still just ravaging through the top 100 of the leaderboards. Now, if we look at the runes, the only two that have been changed is Bloodlust and Endless Anger, and Bloodlust actually received a buff on stealing the HP from AOE attacks. Now it steals 4 HP, but it received an overall nerf because Bloodlust no longer affects if it doesn't break shield, so it's a little bit of a nerf. But if you're running against a rage comp, those Axies don't have shield anyway, so it's not going to be that bad. Endless Anger as a mystic, now AOE attacks grant only half of the stacks, so you no longer get those, but they just adjusted the text on that. Status effect, we have Bubble. Now Bubble only deals 0.7 from AOE attacks, and the Rage only deals half damage from AOE attacks, so they are basically targeting every single AOE comp. And same for Charms, every single AOE attack only applies Bleed, Vulnerable, Weak or Fragile for 2 turns rather than for 4 turns as it used to do. So they have just simply targeted AOE comps, right? But that's not the problem. The problem is in those rage comps. Now everybody's going to be playing rage comps towards the mid and end season because it scales really well. At the start you're not doing that well because you can't really get those epic charms and epic runes that give you those rage stacks. It's still doing okay, but it's not the best. But in the mid and late season, when you get those rage stacks up as quick as you can with those runes and charms, then you are ravaging through your opponents, dealing 300-400 damage per Ronin attack, which only costs 1 energy. And let's have a look at how the leaderboard looks like right now. So if you have a look at the leaderboard, first one is running a rage comp, second one rage comp, rage, another rage. A bunch of rages are here. Now there's still sustain teams because the changes haven't gone through yet, and the sustain teams are still doing okay if you don't have a perfect team. But once those runes and charms start having an impact, like you get an Endless Anger, you get a couple of the masks that give you a rage stack, you will be wrecking through those sustain teams. So those will drop out of favor, and you see how many rage teams are in the top 100. Now there's still plenty of Bloodlusts, and I don't think those are going to go away that quickly, but you see how many rage comps and how many just fast comps. The aquas and the beast are so prevalent when it comes to top 100. You can see that it's just aqua, beast or bird, and pretty much nothing else unless you're playing a sustain comp, and that is the only one that is viable towards the earlier season. Once we start getting into the later stages, those teams are going to start to drop off very quickly. So I'm really underwhelmed that they haven't addressed that issue, or not an issue, but just a balancing fix of a rage. Maybe it can deal a little bit less damage in the rage form, maybe it can do something else, maybe Confident gets a little bit of a nerf as it's running in every single one of those teams, but they just haven't done enough. I know they have said that this would be a small patch, but I didn't expect it to be that small and just target one team composition, which is the AOE, that you don't really see that much. I mean, maybe there's one Spam is running an AOE team, and maybe there's another one that you can find here, but it's not that good as of now, and rage teams are just simply going to be the better choice. And that's it for this episode. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel for daily playthrough and content, and I will see you in the next one.